Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests and fellow participants, brace yourselves for a journey of discovery and transformation as we kickstart this riveting event hosted by the SP Jain Institute of Management and Research. I am Rishabh Aditya from the PGPM class of 2023, and I will be your host for our thought provoking Human Resources Conclave. Since its inception in 1981, SPJIMR has been more than a management school. It's been a guiding light, anchored in our core values of influencing practice and promoting value based growth. SPJIMR aims to be globally recognized as an institution that molds innovative, ethical leaders. Now, let me take a moment to introduce SPJIMR's postgraduate program in management, an 18-month program designed for working professionals aiming for leadership roles. Representing 15 plus industries, this year, our class of 2023 is a diverse group of 146 participants spread across 5 specializations. Samavesh is the flagship event of the PGPM. It is a dynamic forum that brings together notable business leaders, industry experts, thought leaders, and academia to discuss current trends and collaborate to effect positive change in the business world. It is where we apply what we have learned in classrooms to real world roles and challenges. This year, the theme of the conclave is the future of work in the digital era. Imagine stepping into a realm where work isn't just a task, but an ever evolving landscape shaped by the digital era. Our topic today is crucial as we stand at the crossroads of technological innovation and the modern workforce. Staying updated is no longer optional, it has become necessary. Companies and employees have to keep up with the market needs to remain relevant today. And now is the moment to reveal the distinguished panel of experts who will guide us through today's discussion. First, I would like to invite Mr. Shankar Krishnan, an alumnus of IIM Ahmedabad and the Group Head of Strategy, HR, IT, and Corporate Communications at the Shapoorji Pallonji Group. With over 13 years with Shapoorji, contributing to their governance and strategic growth, he is also the designated group spokesperson for the organization. Prior to this, Mr. Krishnan has accumulated more than 15 years of experience in management consulting practice at Accenture, spearheading strategy formulation and organizational design. Now, I would like to invite Mr. Sandeep Joshi, the Chief Talent Officer for GeoBP, a joint venture between Reliance Industries and BP. Holding a postgraduate degree in HR from NMIMS and currently pursuing a doctorate in business administration from SP Jain School of Global Management, Mr. Joshi has amassed over 2 decades of HR experience with notable firms like ABC Consultants and Infosys. Next, allow me to welcome Ms. Navneet Sujlana, an IIM Calcutta alumnus with close to 20 years of comprehensive HR experience. Currently, the Assistant Vice President of Human Resources at Inox Leisure Limited, Ms. Sujlana is a Six Sigma lean management and HR analytics expert. She manages a diverse workforce of over 5,500 employees and specializes in areas ranging from payroll management to HR digitalization. She has also been instrumental in implementing advanced HR systems like EmployeeWise and leading SAP HCM migrations post-merger. I would now like to invite Mr. Satej Mehta, an alumnus of SIMS Mumbai and a seasoned HR professional with an impressive 18 plus years of experience. Currently serving as the General Manager of HR at Walkhart Limited, he has also led leadership roles at Ultratech Cement and Reliance Communications, with expertise ranging from talent acquisition, compensation, and benefits to HR automation, Mr. Mehta has managed global workforces up to 5,500 employees and has been recognized as an emerging CHRO. Completing our lineup of experts is Mr. Himanshu Kapila, the Director of Human Resources for Medtronic India. An alumnus of XLRI Jamshedpur, Himanshu has garnered over a decade of multifaceted experience in HR. From talent acquisition to strategic business partnering, his leadership has been especially notable in the realms of talent development, diversity, and inclusion. Starting his journey as a summer intern at Medtronic in 2011, he has climbed the corporate ladder to oversee HR roles not just in India, but across the Asia Pacific region. A recipient of the COVID Warrior Award, Himanshu is a passionate advocate for making a positive impact on people's lives. A huge round of applause for all our panelists. Now, I would like to call upon the stage our moderator, Professor Tanvi Mankodi. Professor Tanvi is a core faculty member in Organizational and Leadership Studies and leads its Teaching and Learning Academy. With a PhD in Workplace Incivility from IIM Ahmedabad, she teaches courses in organizational behavior, strategic HRM, and career management. Her research specializes in workplace respect, managing multi-generational workforces, and counterproductive behavior. She has also designed and delivered training programs for organizations such as HDFC Life, the Mumbai Police, and the Department of Economic Affairs, focusing on managing conflicts and leadership. A huge round of applause for our moderator. Now, before we start, I'd also like to acknowledge the presence of key leaders from SPJIMR. Professor Varun Nagraj, Dean SPJIMR. Professor Vidyut Lata Dheer, Department Chair, Organizational and Leadership Studies. Their support and presence here today underline the importance of bridging academia with industry. I will now request our moderator to take forward the panel discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Rishabh. Very good evening, all of you. Thank you for attending this panel discussion, and special thank you to all of you here. We just prepared a little bit of a context to give to our audience here and give you some time to cool your nerves as well. See, we are faculty. If you give us a mic, we will talk. And so is HR like that, right? So, yeah. So now it's just... we have a very interesting point, right? That technology, and we've heard this a lot, it has disrupted, it has distorted reality, sometimes even disappointed. At times there is, I can't still skip an ad on YouTube, then I don't know why technology exists. But we have a lot of these, and as we were discussing over tea as well, post-COVID and in the last few years, the way we are conceptualizing work, the way we are redesigning the workspace, be it hybrid arrangements or the way we have employees moving in different roles, right? We have gig workers, we have informal, we have moonlighting, we have the quiet quitters, right? We have a lot of these different types of employees in our midst. And of course, organizations are changing a lot of these things. So given this context, we wanted to discuss how do your present employees as well as some of your future employees from here, how would they understand how HR is reconceptualizing these things, and what do you see as a future of work? So those are some of the points that we would discuss, and post that we'll open it up to some Q&A. All right. So, Mr. Shankar, if we can start off with you, that basically considering these changes that are happening, and then we'll pass down the order, that what would you give advice to people, that how do they position themselves to stay ahead? Because we might even have this, at least to me, very interesting possibility of robots as co-workers. Or we have a very friendly neighborhood chat GPT, always ready to serve. So in that cases, how do we make ourselves relevant more?
Sure, thank you. Privileged to be here. Thank you for having us. lovely campus. So at a meta level, the skill that we need to hone is to be able to embrace change. Today it is AI. 200 years ago, it would have been something else. The life skill or the mental skill that we need to pick up, easier said than done, of course, is to acknowledge, is it working? Is to accept and acknowledge change. It's to believe that change is a constant. It's a cliche, but and the rate of change is increasing. So that's a change from earlier times, and that will further change. The rate of change will further change and increase going forward. The idea is to embrace change as a life skill, as a human being, and also therefore as a professional. Now, that is, of course, for all times, but specifically in today's time, coming back to the question at hand to make it a little bit more practical than philosophical, the the point about AI is very few people have got their arms around it fully. I, for one, believe it's going to be completely a game changer for what life is all about, what humanity is all about, right? And always for the better, because humanity is ingenious, and humanity, and not just in the workplace but across, adapts itself to the new realities. So in the workplace, like in everywhere else, AI is going to change things dramatically. It already is changing things dramatically. I read some survey that lots of work, a large part of work is automatable. The question to do, therefore, is to first embrace AI, to pick up the technical skills around AI, which is hygiene, whether it's a little bit of coding programming with a little bit of data analysis, a little bit of that kind of a technical skill from a technical standpoint, from a non-technical standpoint, to acknowledge that what is important is tech plus touch. Tech will all be done by AI, a large part, in the next few decades, everything. Touch will have to be done by humanities. And touch requires different kinds of skills: creativity, innovation, problem solving, structuring, empathy, understanding human beings and aligning human beings. That is very difficult to model yet. Perhaps a century down the line, that may also be possible to model. But right now, we don't have those models. Humanity and the world of work and the world of HR or professionals like you should think through the important life skills that I talked about. Strategy, it's a very big thing, combining many things, difficult to pin down technically. And also the whole aspect about aligning human beings towards a cause, that's leadership. These things are what I think all of us should focus on.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, basically, I'm a guy who's scared of everything. Okay. So my first day at hostel, I wanted to go to the washroom, but you see, after 12, there is some kind of fear. So, when somebody first told me AI, what is this here? This is like, artificial intelligence, it is going to be artificial. It is not my intelligence, and whose intelligence it is. Okay. Then I keep reading it. It's like 4 or 5 years ago, and there is nothing different between you and us. We are possibly some years ahead, and eligible for gratuity also in our organization, so on and so forth. So so what is this thing? So this is something which computers have information, data. Whatever we do, we feed it in, and then at some point in time, we feed in patterns. What we think can be sought from a computer, as simple as that. Okay, but somebody has to ride the horse. I am the one who's riding the horse. You are the one who's going to ride the horse. It just makes you quicker. So, is my job going to go? Is something else going to happen? The answer is no. Things are only going to get better. Pure play, simple. So, beyond that, I do not think about it much. Okay. And when I say so, maybe it is my batchmates' perspective. It is people such as me who have that. Now, what is expected from you? The answer is nothing. You know far more about these things. You have access to every possible report around AI, machine learning. There is going to be a point in time, somebody says, a guy by the name of Ray, who's some director of product engineering at Google, 2029, my brain and information in a computer kind of going to be equal. Okay, so some Turing's test, which is, the way I think the computer can also think. Now, when that happens, then it is bound to go ahead. Okay, I am the one who's feeding it. Maybe by 2040, 50, 60, whatever, my information becomes extremely more because I am harnessing this part. I can't run as fast as a horse can. So I get on the horse. Okay. Tomorrow something else comes, 1910 horses and number of cars became equal. I get on the car. Then somebody does the aeroplane and then I get on the aeroplane. So point is, you may not have read the book, but you need to know the index. If you can do that, that's good. So very, very simply put, this is what I would want to say as we go deeper into this. Just be open. Just be open. The things which we are training the whole organization, we call them future skills. So everybody needs to know these future skills. One is collaboration. If you can't work with people, you can't work. You don't have all the answers. Okay. Mani Ratnam cannot make the film by his own. Somebody needs to act also, right? Okay. The other part is that so much amount of data. Karna kya hai data ka? What am I supposed to do with it? Okay. So some basic level of understanding of how to drive this car, how to use this data, some appreciation, that is required. That is second. The third part is that the entire employee base is changing. Okay. For GOBP, we do petrol, diesel, EV charging, so on and so forth. We just don't have these skill sets. Nobody is going to give us people from BPCL, HPCL, IOCL. Why would they come? So we train them. So invest in them. So people who do not have the hunger and curiosity to learn, what can we do with them? Nothing we can do with them. They won't even help themselves. Yeah. So these are absolute basic things. The focus is on us that we train folks, provided you are willing to learn. So, short question, long answer, gets over now. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Navneet, your take on this?
Yeah. Hi. So I would call myself a deadly combination because I'm a mother and an HR person. So we are full of lecture on both our roles. So, the only thing which I keep telling the juniors in our office also and people when we go to the institute and talk, the biggest challenge just now for this generation is you guys need to learn because your future depends on it. The biggest challenge for you people is that you have everything easily available, but you're not ready to get into the depth of knowledge, getting into the technical part of information or an application or a software. And believe me, like how the other panelists have said, there's a lot of scope. People keep saying AI is going to take away jobs. No. I've been part of a merger where I'm implementing a lot of applications, a lot of softwares, new processes, and believe me, I'm adding up people in my department just to handle these softwares. So somebody who knows technology, who knows AI, who understands coding, basic coding, you guys have it sorted for yourself. So what you have to do is you have to prepare yourself for your future. Only thing is don't depend, like when we graduated, for us it was very easy that we did our course and then we were ready for 40 years of work. But you guys, moment you pass, you'll have a new technology waiting for you. So please spend a lot of time in investing on yourself, which I tell my son also, and I'm going to tell everybody else. Because during pandemic, the only way we survived was that we added up skills. And we were ready when the market opened. We were ready with a lot of skill set to offer. And that's how we have moved. So that would be the only thing which I can advise, that you guys need to start investing in yourself and do self-learning, because there are organizations earlier used to spend a lot of time in getting people trained, but now they want ready-made. You're ready for the job and they will offer it to you. So please remember, you have to prepare for yourself, right?
Thank you. Yeah.
Hello, am I audible? Okay, so in fact, all the panelists before me, Shankar, Sandeep, Navneet, have almost touched upon all the topics They have explained how it is required, what is required, how you need to reskill yourself, upskill yourself, and everything. So, only thing I have to share with you all is let's go into the history. If we see any revolution, let's take industrial revolution, IT revolution, everywhere you see the jobs have just been changed but never replaced. So it's always that, yeah, this revolution, Industry 4.0, which is a up topic right now, which everyone is talking about, the jobs are going to be changed. Obviously, it's not remaining the same. The things that we are doing today will not be done because that will be replaced by someone else. But at the same time, when we supplement the machines, the automation only supplements this. And it gives us as a human being more time, more free time to think upon, to improvise upon, and to do things more differently, to work more differently, to have more different kind of a services. So if we, when we remember the ATM banks, when it started, people thought that bankers will lose a job. But after ATM, as she rightly said, Navneet, there are now security guards. So there is more job creation for the people. So that's how this automation or the AI phase or the digital era is here to stay. As rightly said by Shankar also, that is here to stay. It's only for us to decide how we get along with this and how best we take advantage of this. Obviously, reskilling, upskilling, as shared by Sandeep also. Currently, in his field, there are no people available. So the only option available is reskilling the people or upskilling the people. So hire freshers and reskill, upskill them. Similarly, you all also right now, whatever is available, you can have the skills. There are various methods by which skills can be acquired. So there are various concept of I shape, V shape, T shape of learning. So you can decide on which applies most to you. There is no one size fits all. For everything, for every human being, in fact, there is nothing where it's one size fits all. It's everything is contextual. Everything depends on the situation, on the organization that you work for. So for some people, there will be AI, ML, which is the most important, wherein it comes to something like pharmaceuticals, manufacturing for operators. Though there is an AI thing in for manufacturing also, but to a limited extent. It will still depend on the people. So human beings are still required. So the only thing is you need to decide for what you are requiring yourself, in which organization you are, and mold yourself, change yourself as per that organization. Thank you.
I think I've been one of the lucky few who have been able to see the positive power of AI. I think most of you would not have heard the name of my organization. And it's actually a good thing, because when you hear this name, that means there's something very seriously wrong with you. Because this is the last resort to save a human life. So our latest generation of insulin pump, that has been made by 156 million data points. None of us would have been ever able to analyze this. But now the power of that pump is to that level that 30 minutes in advance, it can tell, eat something or you'll get hypoglycemic. Pacemakers, my colleagues spoke about the lateral thinking part, reading part. Our smallest pacemaker, which is the size of a capsule. Earlier you had to make a pocket, there'll be leads going down to the heart. Then they will predict when to give the rhythm, when not to give the rhythm. He just saw that NASA had sent something to moon and they had used a very light new element. And he started thinking that, can I use it somewhere? Can I reduce the size of the pacemaker? And what helped him was the data that was available. Using the IBM Watson, he and his team went through, they did the analysis without even using a single sheet of element. They had the design ready, then they executed. So I think AI and ML as professionals will give us tremendous opportunities to fail regularly, fail fast, see what's going to work, and then physically implement. So I welcome this. Bollywood always had those old movies, right? Oh, and the banda is gone. And recently, we had a conference where the doctor said, pray to God you get a heart disease. We can fix heart in every way. We can give you pacemakers, stents, we can give you valves. Worst come worst, we can put a heart pump inside you when you don't have a heart. But don't pray that you get a brain disease. That is something we know very little about. So this is the next frontier as a lot of doctors, hospitals like them, they are working to figure out. So at least in healthcare sector, I've seen very powerful positive impact. What we should do, keep our imagination open. That is something which an AI or ML will take substantial time to develop. In all the industrial revolutions, what has pushed us forward is our imagination. It's a very nice line that if Henry Ford had would asked people what they need, we would have had faster horses. So, back to you.
Thank you so much. But we'll continue with you, Manshu. So hopefully you can get a cure for broken hearts as well. We have a few of them here. Yeah. So, but because we are talking of heart, I think we have to talk about an empathy, taking a cue from Mr. Shankar's point as well. Now, as I said, okay, we have, thankfully, the good news, yes, AI is not taking up any jobs as of now and creating more, there's a lot more happening. But, if you even look at, let's say, just general future of work, we are looking at lots of different hybrid arrangements, right? Remote working, flexi working, gig economy, moonlighting in a legal way, etc. How do you ensure that or let me break it down, the part A is how do we bring is this sense of empathy, the sense of belongingness in the organization when I'm physically not there sometimes, is out of sight, out of mind still valid? And I'll come to the second part also, but yeah, how do we bring in empathy?
It's a very nice question. 3 years before, none of us imagined there will be work which is possible outside the office. And now that has become a part of our lives. It's very important to have both formal as well as informal networks. So, for example, we have a sports club, and the reality is we have so many different divisions. So, in the same city, there are people who don't know each other, and when they will walk in the ground, and I'll just say, "Can you please form a team?" Everybody will be looking at each other, and then after a few minutes, they will start introducing each other, interacting with each other. Talking, oh, I work in that account. You also work in that account. Yes, I saw you, but I thought you are not part of our organization. So these kinds of simple things, even like your CSR initiatives, generally what we corporates do, which is something which we have to learn from. We outsource that also. That give it to an NGO. Please now do something for us. Modi ji is happy. Everybody else is happy that we have checked this box. I think we miss a very important opportunity for our employees to connect with each other. And I also learned this lesson. In Indore, we did one activity with Akshay Patra, and we have 4 people only there. So they came with their families. And now I did not need to set up another anything which was formal. These guys connected with themselves. And they have their own get-togethers. They work with each other more strongly. And what we have seen, and I think my colleague will speak about this, the power of data analytics. Wherever we see strong connections, MSPY is a powerful tool which gives you those things. You see your attrition rates going down. So I think informal networks, informal setup matters a lot. Hybrid is definitely there to stay, for sure.
Yeah, Satyaj, yeah.
Yeah. So very true, as shared by Himanshu also, that informal meetings or connect is always required. But as we are talking of a hybrid or a remote working, so there is a new term which is right now spreading across, which is a psychologically safety. So right now people are looking for a psychologically safety. So that's where the IT piece or the automation piece comes into the play, wherein the psychologically safety is nothing but the person feels that he's safe to speak. Right now, when everything is virtual, people are not meeting each other. They are not sure of how his words will be taken. If he speaks something, will be taken in a right way or it will be taken the otherwise. Will people take it positively or negatively? The basic itself still, though it's more than 2.5 years, 3 years of COVID and everything, but still the basic dilemma remains: should I keep my camera on or off during the meeting? People still wait for the people to see. अगर 4 लोगों का चालू है तो ठीक है, keep my camera also on, else I'll keep it off. So people are still not that safe. They don't feel that kind of a connection. So that's where HR or an organization comes into the play, wherein they need to create that kind of a psychological safety in the minds of the people sitting across the table. So it's other side. And that's obviously it's require lots of commitment from the organization. There is lots of leadership involvement. People should feel, they should see that demonstrated leadership should tell them that, okay, it's okay. Though you are there, but still we are connected. Because it's only when people are psychologically safe, they will open up, they will speak up. they will contribute, they will be productive. So psychological safety is something which an organization should take it very seriously. And when it comes to us as a VOCAD also, there are various steps that we are going around, making it clear to the people, because we have people across the globe. We have our country managers sitting across the globe. So there are various virtual meetings, virtual connect that we do on a continuous basis. There is a continuous comment or feedback given to them. That's where I think the psychological safety takes place. It's a more of a culture. So basically, it's a trust. The culture of trust then went away there in the organization. It's where the psychological safety could be there. So I would put it that way. Psychological safety is something a responsibility of an organization, along with obviously the employees also, and that's where it will take it to the next level.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would definitely agree to what he said, that the psychological safety is more important. So I saw both the sides. We were during COVID, we were all sitting on Teams, and there was this ringtone when it used to go off. It was really ab kya. You know, I don't know how many of you have heard that Teams, when the meeting invite comes, and so that fear, actually I got that fear inside me. What now? Okay, and it was just going haywire. Anytime it was going up. This was my previous organization, so I'm very happy at my present job, guys. Uh, Inox was absolutely fabulous, and PVR Inox is superb. So, we had a merger just now. People moved from pandemic to a merger. There's a lot of disturbed people, thoughts, which is there in the organization. I'm just sharing my present situation so that you can correlate to it. So what we did is we hired an agency called Conclave. I don't know how many of you are aware about it. It's one of the biggest names when it comes to helping organization into mergers and takeovers and stuff like that. So Conclave started off by taking inputs from the junior level till the senior, and now after 3 months of assessment, we are into leadership training. So they're teaching our leaders to be empathetic. We are having a session every day where you're told to switch off your mobiles and learn how to interact with each other, because we are so used to that video call that we don't know how to interact with each other. Even how to take basic interviews. Somebody doesn't dress up well, you reject the candidate. Why? How does it matter if he has the skill sets? I'm not saying please dress up shabbily for your interviews, guys. Not everybody is like me, but yeah. So, these basic content, basic things which were missing, we are teaching our leaders. Said that, as me, I was taking care of payroll. I am taking care of payroll. So when I was integrating the entire process for both the organizations, we used to have a lot of team meets. So we made it mandatory. Initially, we realized everybody was just saying yes, yes, yes. And, eventually they used to come back, I don't understand what is happening. We made it mandatory that you switch on your cameras and you talk and you share your thoughts. So we have come to a situation where people actually start fighting on the call. Nahi, this is not the right way. I want this to be followed this way. And it is like 200 HRs from different units sitting there and fighting on the call, which is healthy. I think it's very healthy. So what organizations have to understand is that they have to build up an environment where people can talk freely, they can express themselves freely, because this generation is looking for that. They are not looking for a situation where somebody tells you what to do and you're not able to share your thoughts. So empathy is definitely something which managers have to, the leaders are trying, they have to build in themselves for what is coming ahead with regards to the digital era and people, the present generation. Yeah.
Sandeep, sorry, Gina, just add on a little more element to the question. One is, of course, empathy. But could you also give your views, you and Mr. Shankar, both on embedding empathy into the culture, especially when you have multi-generations working in, and you have, again, hybrid remote arrangements where if somebody is welcome in a new organization with a flexible arrangement and they've not been to the organization, the physical organization, let's say in the first 6 months, can they really decide if it is for me or not? Something on that. And how do you make them feel a part of the organization, although they may have not officially met their colleagues yet?
So I'll answer this question, in 2-3 parts. This entire part of work from home, work from office, work from Dehradun, you know, so work from Manali, Kulu, etc., etc., etc. We have factories. Okay? If all of them decide to work from home, it's going to be difficult. We have people on the ground selling to customers. If they decide to do an MST call with the dealer, where will my bonus come from? You know, so there are jobs which can happen from anywhere. There are jobs which need, to be done in the temple. Okay, so one is very clean distinction. This work from home business is primarily city folks talking a lot about it, but there is a huge workforce which is out there in the field and works in plants. So let us be cognizant of that fact. I did not have cornflakes for 3 4 years, but my mom said khana padega. Okay, I love paratha. Today I eat cornflakes, I eat paratha. Sometimes I eat pizza also. So all these things which come in find their own part in your work component. So that is number one. From a empathy perspective, as long as the pride part, which is purpose, reputation, integrity, energy, and direction, if you can set that part right through various ways, not just the responsibility of HR, but your line manager also, everything should be fine. Everything should be fine. What is empathy? Empathy means, why don't you do the basic things right? I am doing the job which I am supposed to be doing. I love working with the people. My manager is a decent person, male, female, whatever, decent guy, does care about me. Those are empathy kind of things. We as managers also want some little bit of empathy at times, because when someone has multiple reasons why not to work or where to work from, my neck is on the line. I have to deliver. How can I deliver? So from that, some things I actually feel at times are just overblown. Okay, I get salary at the end of the month. I have a job, I have a purpose to be done. If these all things are definitely going to happen, company wants to say, hey, this person is extremely important for us, or such kind of people are extremely important for us, we will not lose them. Okay? For all our sales folks who do a fantastic job of selling in the tough market, we definitely get them down to Mumbai. Okay, we have 7 days of, we treat them well. When I say treat them well means, I will receive them at the gate. I will go to the hotel in the evening. Okay, I would say that, guys, I will pick up cost for one drink, only one, huh? Not more than that. Okay, so you have to do that. For me, you are important. You make my bonus happen. Why can't you even say that? The moment you say, or this HR chief is coming, or do this, do that, doesn't work. So authenticity is what I would say is called as empathy. Rest, I ask someone, hi, how are you doing? Everything is fine. No, sir, I needed help. Okay, fine. Reach out to me Monday. Put up a calendar request. I'm just being sweet, nice, but nothing beyond that. So for us, there was never a debate. Work from home, work from office, do what you like. But what needs to be done in office has to be done in office. The other point also for all of us to think is that how beautiful are our offices. If I need to work in collaboration, see here I can sit with Shankar and I can have a word with him. But how is our office designed? Our office is designed, there is a table, I am sitting on this side, the other side, somebody else is sitting. When I, as the HR guy, am meeting up with people, if I sit this way, generally this arrangement is in arbitration. We are negotiating something. Why don't we have remove the table? Okay, a bit of free space. I'm not saying I'm not a great fan of companies which offer free food and etc. etc. All of us are decently capable of buying our own food, so all of that is fine. But some space for me to just chit chat. Can you not make that coffee room a bit better? I need to come to office, make it a bit nicer for me. These days space is a problem. We don't have space. So those kind of things, make the office attractive. We will come to office also. If you need to work from somewhere, that concession, please go ahead, take it. If your job can be done from home, please go ahead and do it. Your electricity, your real estate, your internet bandwidth, no problem. So that is our very, very simple take. We don't complicate these things and we don't spend too much amount of time on this as a group is what I'm saying.
Hello. Let me pick up the first question briefly, perhaps. The first question was, in this age of remote work, hybrid work, how do we instill bonding and such sense of oneness? And that's a fundamental question as well. Let me give a context, just as they said to me. Our group is 158 years old. We are in the business of construction, not even manufacturing, construction projects, which are done, as some of you might know, on sites, not in offices. And we are 158 years old. Our culture is extremely touch, as in projects get done on site, decisions get done face to face, looking people in the eye, sensing the body language. That is our culture, very old fashioned in a way. And we were hit by COVID where everything had to change in 2-3 years. We had to keep the game running. We all changed. It's very difficult in retrospect to believe we did it. We all changed culturally to shift to a situation where we had to take decisions sitting virtually. There was no other option. So we shifted that culture. The point I'm trying to say is that this shift is possible because the imagination is everything. So the first thing is that this shift is possible, and this shift in the world of work will remain. Certain kinds of work, our kind of work, which cannot be done virtually, cannot be done virtually. We'll have to do it. But certain kinds of decisions which can be done virtually will be done virtually or collaboratively virtually going forward. That is how the world of work is going to be. COVID has fundamentally shifted the mind. Technology was always there. Now, how do you build a sense of collaboration or oneness in that situation? One part is to deal with building that sense of oneness, even if it is virtual. The second part is how do you embed other things outside of virtualness to build it. And some people talked about the latter. Let me talk about the former also. Presuming that the world of virtual work is going to continue, how do you embed the reality of a physical workplace in a small way into that virtual environment? Think about it. Before we get started in this panel, we had a small chat. So we broke the ice. We talked to some of the people, senior people here as well. These kinds of things we need to replicate. Let us not adopt an Anglo-Saxon model to a Teams call where you start with agenda item 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Get certain soft things done prior to the conversation. Try not to have people hide their cameras because you want to have to see them, to catch their eye, to make sure they're not multitasking. Multitasking is the big bane of virtual work. It's the big bane of humanity, and that's a larger question for another panel discussion, because work can be done with multitasking, but great work can never be done with multitasking. And virtual work, sometimes we tend to, even I do it. Right now I was looking at my phone, by the way. We tend to defocus. So virtual work requires certain rules. One of the rules is try to embed some physical elements into it, including softness, a soft agenda. If a family member is there, have them come and say hello. That will never happen physically. You have that opportunity. Try to build softness in virtual work. And there are various techniques and tactics which this conversation is too short to get into. But I think there's an art and science around how to embed a physical reality into a virtual workplace. So that part having been said, the world of work needs to have a combination. Humanity was not meant not to interact. The whole purpose of humanity is to make social connections. Research tells you that what brings happiness is not fame, not wealth, not achievement. It is social connections. The world of work is one opportunity also to pursue that aspect of life. And if that is lost, you lose a whole sense of things. You lose a whole sense of opportunity in the workplace. Collaboration, brainstorming, you never can do brainstorming virtually as effectively as you can do. You can do many things. The question is the effectiveness, the question is the openness which comes in and so on. So these kinds of things you have to embed by infusing physical meetings regularly. You create an excuse and have them meet. It can be just nothing, but then people won't come for nothing, so you have to say come for this, come for that, So create an agenda and a sense of purpose. But the larger purpose is they have to know themselves as human beings. Uska fayda alag sa baad mein aayega. Its benefits will be unknown but definite and later. That has to be the mindset of leadership. How do you embed empathy? That's a larger question, irrespective of the world of work going virtually. How do you embed empathy? Empathy comes through authenticity. You should yourself be an empathic person. If you're empathetic or empathic, both words work, I think. If you're an empathetic person, it will show itself. You cannot feign empathy. HR is vested with showing this quality to a greater degree than other disciplines, but I'm sorry to say that it is not shown to the degree that it ought to be shown. There's an overemphasis on process, on performance, on techniques, on tactics, on tools. They tend to override the larger sense of purpose of HR, which is to create a culture, apart from leadership, which starts all this, of empathy. Because once there is empathy, there is approachability. Once there is approachability, there's openness. Once there is openness, there's transparency. Once there is all of this, there's collaboration. When there is collaboration, there is magic. Someone talked about collaboration. This is unrelated to the world of work changing. If the world of work is changing, you need to display empathy authentically, but create physical aspects around that virtual reality more and more. The reality of these young people, many of them are probably 22, 23. I have a son who's 17. They tend to believe that virtual work is more productive. And I can't convince my 17-year-old son, but I want to tell you guys that it is not more productive. It is productive for the task, not productive for the larger outcomes and potential which all of you have. So believe in us when we tell you that the world of work going virtual has to be mixed with physical aspects. Because the magic of physical connections is something that you're not able to imagine through this specific task. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Tanvi, the multi-generation part I'll touch
Yes,
up in
absolutely.
some of the. Just wanted to give a perspective. You see, ours is a 3-year-old startup. It started bang in the middle of pandemic. So deal was signed, everything was done, and now this happens. Now people haven't even seen each other, but they are selling something. We have to sell petrol and diesel, so nothing different. But then safety is an important aspect. So for about a year and a half almost, people have not seen each other. The one who's selling in West Bengal is selling in West Bengal. Somebody who's in Delhi is in Delhi. The RSM has not gone there. Okay. Obviously, MS Teams, all of that is done. But so we've survived that part. And then contrary to whatever I keep on reading, everybody was itching to meet each other. I want to meet. Work is happening, but I want to meet. There is something very, very human that you want to connect. But not so much that, every day I am seeing your face. Okay? Some days I want to see your face. So people did connect. People met. People go back. And life is pretty okay. After we have met up with folks, now people will, there are regional meets which happen, so on and so forth. Life is just pretty okay. So we kind of did not, we were born in the pandemic, 3 years, resilient organization, all of that keywords we can write for ourselves. Nice case study we can write. Russia, Ukraine happened, one more. We were selling fuel at the rate of 105, but we were buying at the rate of 125 rupees, 20 rupees loss, and we just survived. We just survived with 300 crore loss month on month, and that all happens primarily from the people. So this entire part is, if I know the purpose, what are we trying to do here? We are going to be that unique company which will sell 8 types of energy: EV, CNG, LNG, hydrogen, everything. When you transfer that to people, you don't need to do much. They find their way out. We move into the multi-generations part. The purpose part is common for all of us. All of us get hungry. All of us want to sleep. All generations want to do that. What can I get from you? Someone of your age will ask the senior, and the senior says, "Mujhe kya milega?" As long as I create, as the HR guy, avenues for both of you to transfer stuff, life is good. Life is good. We live very well with our parents. We can live very well with our seniors. You are going to reach there much faster than wherever we reached. You have all the information. We can make it here. You can jolly well make it here. No big deal at all. So.
Thank you. So, you spoke about collaboration and magic. I want to. Okay, my research area is what we call dark side of behavior. So the moment you talk about positive things, my mind goes to okay. So what's the catch? So the while of course there are a lot of positive things in AI, in digital, etc. The challenge that is coming across, or what we call the dark side of digital era, or hybrid working, is the challenges to mental well-being, mental health have. Not that they've increased just in the last few years, maybe they are being reported. People are being more open about talking about that. And we have Professor Lata here who works in this space as well. And we have workplace loneliness also has come in, especially for people working in remote setups. Um, what do you suggest, or what do you think, or organizations like yours, what are they already doing in something in this space? Navneet, if we start with you and then move along to Sati.
Okay. So yeah, so we have been working on that particular aspect. So we started during COVID. We started having wellness sessions, mental wellness sessions during COVID itself. So thankfully, we had a training department which was, they knew what was coming. So these sessions actually helped in letting people vent out their thoughts, letting them connect. Beyond that, what we are emphasizing on is we are doing a lot of discussions between groups. So we have office. My present organization, my office is spread over 3 floors. So that situation ki, you don't know each other, that happens to us also. We have started having once a month we do a session wherein we ask everybody to join in and start speaking about what has been their experience and how they want the workplace to change. See, the moment you start asking people what they want to be changed, they will start telling you, what is, they will start indicating to the things which are not correct at present. So the biggest thing is that you need to have sessions where you make people interact with each other. You have seniors sitting there over a coffee, and you're talking to them and interacting and taking whatever inputs you can take. There are a lot of work will go on. I might not sound like a typical very strict sort of a person, but I believe that you finish your work, that's very important. But connecting and bonding between work hours is very important. I personally feel that, we are actually last week we decided that the both entities, we will do a cricket match. So we're going to have 16 groups which have been formed, and we're going to have a live match which will be telecast all over, where people will see that happening. So these small initiatives, making people talk, taking wellness sessions. We do, once in a quarter, we do a yoga session where in the office itself, we tell them how can you meditate, close your eyes for 15, 20 minutes. And we see these are opportunities where, people tell you that, oh, this is nice, I was getting bothered. So these are small initiatives which each organization has to start taking. It's very important, especially with the current generation. They are not like us that you come to work, do job and go back home. They want something exciting, So yeah, change is required. People are doing a lot of things. Our organization is also putting in their effort wherever required.
Thank you. Yeah, Sati.
Right now, Nit. So just taking your point forward. So yeah, today's generation, millennials and Gen Zs, they have grown up there. They have seen that mental health is something which is, or not only the mental, but the entire overall well-being, overall health is something which is really important for them. So yeah, in old times we do had first aid trainings and everything, which was just concentrating on the physical well-being. But right now, organizations are moving ahead with an overall well-being, which consists of not only physical but also financial well-being. There are various programs, various organizations who have come up. So there are various who you can get your salary as and you work. So you can get your everyday salaries also. There are various organizations you tie up with. So we are also in the process of tying up with one of such organization wherein our employee do not have to wait till 30th of the month to get the salary. You have worked for 10 days. You can get your 10 days salary as an advance from that organization. There is a fee to it, but then that's your money. So you don't have to wait. So that's how people are moving. That's the change that we all are getting into. So when it comes to physical wellness also, it's all first aid training and everything is done. But mental wellness, is something which currently still it's looked as a taboo for some people. There's still not much discussed. There are still lots of work to be done on the mental wellness. We need to train our managers, because managers are the first person who can understand if his team member is going through any such problems. He can, employee can be very close to the manager. He can open up. Manager needs to understand how we need to deal it at the initial stage itself. Maybe later on, if it's really serious, obviously it needs to go to the doctor. But then, because mental wellness is nothing more, it's more of a talk, it's more of a touch, it's more of a feeling, it's psychological. So if manager can give that much of a feeling or that much of a comfort to that person, there are quite more chances that the cases of mental illness will go down, mental illness will go down. So yes, we need to work on that. Coming from the automation perspective, metaverse is something which is coming really big. In metaverse, so I was just reading one of the report in which it's the Gartner study. It says 3 years from now, approximately 1 hour of every individual will be spent in a metaverse. He will be doing either studying, playing, entertainment, whatever it is. But metaverse is something which is coming really big. So metaverse can really come to save all this kind of a things wherein there is a disconnect. So in metaverse, you can have your own avatars. You can have a sutta breaks, you can have coffee breaks. So we are talking of you need to create a space in office wherein a person wants to come to the office. That entire office space can be created virtually. In metaverse, you can have everything. So a person can decide. So video is something different, wherein in video, the entire control is on the maker. You can see what he wants to show you. However, in metaverse, you can experience yourself the entire thing. You can physically be there. Metaverse is where it's getting developed, wherein I sitting over here, I can get into a space, virtual space, wherein I am in Mumbai, there is someone in London, there is a third person in Singapore, and we all three are having a proper brainstorming session. There is a whiteboard, we can all write down our ideas at the same time itself. So the future work is really good. There is lots of space, lots of things available that we can do. Whatever we can do physically, everything would be replicated in metaverse. So that's.
I think I consider you guys also as leaders. The first thing is, as a nation, we have to realize this. It's okay to ask for help. In India, unfortunately, the culture has been there is nothing called mental health or stress. Just push through. My colleague spoke about research studies. It's not only mental. When you see stress, you will see a lot of changes in your physical body, whether it is heart rate, blood pressure, the way your metabolism either increases or decreases. So they are real ramification of stress. So, in our organization, what we have started to do, and the question was people who are based remotely, because in office, they have access to leaders, they have access to their managers. So if they need any information, they can just knock the door, or if the door is open, just walk in and ask. The inclusion part becomes very, very critical. So don't think that, if somebody is based in remote location, the mail will go and the person will read. And this lesson we learned recently. Globally, we had a very big restructuring. The organization cut, I think, close to a couple of thousand jobs, and it was wildfire. And there I realized humanity is same everywhere. So same stress was in Japan, the same stress was in ANZ, and same stress was here. So what I think we did decently well was we ensured that it's not only we leave it to our operating unit leaders. So my MD, myself, our supply chain head, all of us was on those calls, reaching out to our zonal teams also and giving them this, that nothing of this sort is happening. Because you also have one more force in market called competition. They started going to every customer and showing, look, they are doing this in US. In India, this will also happen. And started telling my colleagues also. So, two things, which is stress-inducing trigger. So all this was happening, and then we tried our stress-alleviating triggers. So, and even in that time, the message was clear. If there is any stress that you are facing, you have employee assistance program, anonymous, reach out, ask for help. We gave our stories of what kind of stresses we face. Why do we reach out? We don't keep everything in our head. Wherever we need, we go to the company therapist and ask for his or her help. So create those artifacts of culture. And in skills, stress management in the next 5 years will be the highest skills that one of the highest skills that we will need.
Thank you so much. Yes, Shankar.
Yes, I think I'm so glad that this specific topic has come. I think the larger topic that she was alluding to is holistic well-being. Holistic well-being earlier was seen to be the preserve of the individual. It's your problem, and we pay you for your work, for your contributions, and you go home, and then holistic well-being, whether it's spiritual or whether it's mental or physical, is your problem. Organizations have come to realize. Of course, enlightened organizations had always realized it, or institutions had always realized it. Organizations, business organizations have come to realize that cannot be the case, even from a selfish perspective, because these people then won't be as productive as contributing, and certainly not from an altruistic perspective, if you have a larger sense of purpose. Many organizations now do have a larger sense of purpose, at least articulated, and some actually even displayed in reality. So holistic well-being therefore becomes a topic also for the leadership, and then therefore for the HR setup and for the organization that is seeing it's being played out, including in India. Now, holistic well-being is a combination of the mental and the physical aspects. I would exclude the spiritual aspect for this topic. That's a larger discussion, but certainly the mental and the physical aspect. Now, let me come to your point. Your point is in the virtual world, perhaps this is getting exacerbated or worsened. I think it is for the reason that social connectedness is one way to deal with the stress of life. And that is obviated to a degree by virtual work for some of us. So all that we talked about of getting physicality will be one way that the organizations can do something to help in decreasing that particular impact. So the other thing about the world of work which is shifting now, or the world which is shifting now, is screen time. Now, the screen time is such a big thing, even for me personally, that it takes away from a lot of the things which are to do with being well holistically. So, what is really the mantra, which not just organizations but homes can follow, individuals can follow, is around holistic mental and physical health. Now, we tend to defocus from physical health. Indians have this metaphysical obsession, so we go into those kinds of topics. But I think there is a case for all of us in this generation who are so used to these kinds of devices, and I am too, to focus a lot on physical health. Organizations can push you. You guys have to push yourself dramatically into that space. Also, mental health. The reason is, as affluence increases, as your physical problems decrease, you have food on the table, the plate of problems has to be full for everyone. So all those problems are going to be mental problems going forward. So you guys need to deal with a life where you have everything, but you still have mental problems. And we also are going through that phase, right? So to acknowledge that and seek help becomes the first thing. To have holistic habits of goodness is very important. One big thing is to be physically fit. You cannot be mentally fit if you're not physically fit. So especially when you're young, in your 20s, 30s, you invest dramatically in your health. It will pay you back in your 40s, 50s, and 60s. We tend not to do it. Our awareness was less in my kind of generation. You guys should not make this mistake. Have a sound body. Keep in that a sound mind through healthy habits. Organizations can do as much as they can, but you guys need to take that particular initiative in your own hands. And well-being is the mantra. It's not success. Well-being is the final objective, the larger objective.
So, when we speak about wellness, what, for want of a better word, what irritates me more? What irritates me more is sense of predictability. I have shut my laptop, 6:30, 7:30, whatever, and then, hello, can you do this? Those are your stress points. So fact of the matter is that you map. I'm just giving you a practitioner's outlook to it. You map what are the stress points and say, can we minimize this? At one level, we can do this. That is number one. Okay, and you just minimize it. Can I avoid sending a mail on Sunday? No. I send the mail on Sunday. Okay. Can I tell my team I will send it because I am habituated at times, but you please do not respond to it. You can respond on Monday morning. And if I need something, I will call you. The moment you have that understanding, things should be fine, more or less. That is number one. From a wellness perspective, one obviously is, if I need help, where do I go? There are anonymous phone lines with counselors where you can call up, you can do that. Most of the time I'm spending in office. I haven't gone to a doctor beyond Reliance. last 8 years. I trust them. I get my entire medical checkup also done within the campus itself. Everybody has that facility. So maybe we are blessed. We have the large infrastructure. We can do it. When COVID happened for 1 year, I did not do any part of HR. We got everybody vaccinated. My job was the chief vaccination officer, CVO. Okay, I can tell you the full process. Without that vial which is there. Okay, for the vaccine, 2.5 is there in one vial. Okay, I can show you full 2.5 we could use. Okay, where the government guys would use only 2 and zero 0.5 was wasted. So when we do something, we do it with full rigor. If I am CVO at that point in time, I am CVO. I am nothing else. Okay, so that's one part. The other part is financial part. I have money. What am I supposed to do with it? So why don't you get good insurance, medical insurance? If you buy medical insurance right now, a big one, your premium is going to be less. Somebody tells me, I know. Nobody tells me, I don't know. So the financial wellness part, how do you manage your taxes? We can only provide you information. If you don't want to do it, nobody can stop you. So then the food which you serve, you can't be serving around chole bhature and expect people to get fit. So the entire menu is designed. You want to eat, you eat. You don't want to eat, you bring your own stuff, go out and eat. No problem at all. So we have 9 food courts at RCP or Reliance Corporate Park. We can't just be sending mailers about millets. It has to be available. Okay, so it is available in the canteen. Choice is yours. Okay, so when you do walkathon in the campus once on a Friday, everybody apart from the leaders is there. Okay, so it can't work that way. You have to show up. You have to show up, and you also have to do that part. And maybe you're hoping that out of maybe 2 lakh folks, maybe 2,000, 3,000 will change. There's a runners club. Choice is yours. You want to join, you join. There is Zumba, there is yoga. You want to join, you join. So food is available at 7 p.m. also. The dinner part. There are people who come in late. I still do not know the in and out time of ours. We are very flexible if you want to work on Saturday, Sunday also. Okay, but food is available. So you can eat at 7 and go home also. That's a good habit. Now we are trying to tell people that, eat early. So those are some small things. How do we speak to people? Is something which we are consciously teaching each and every leader, and right from the middle managers and up. How do you speak to people? You get on, what are the numbers? Finish. Not going to get anything. One question. So, how's your family? What are you doing? So you have to train people to do that. For me also, it was never coming so easily. I have to make that conscious choice. You have to teach people how to smile. There's a full workshop which we do on how to smile. No, I said, aren't these things important? If I come to you with a grim face and say, how are you? It doesn't work that way. So small things, So why am I doing for all of you all of this? Because fact of the matter is that you are going to represent the workforce. I'm doing it for myself as a company. You are going to earn money for us, so we better do it for you. Not that, we are running some holy institution and we want to bless everybody and make everybody happy. If you are happy and if you're doing great work, we will also be happy. If you are just happy but not doing great work, sorry. So that's all.
Thank you so much. So I do have a couple more points, but y'all have been a lovely audience. So let's now shift the spotlight to you. So if it's okay with you, can we open it for a Q&A? Yeah. So any questions? Yeah.
Greetings to all the panelists. My question is to all of you. We are seeing a shift to the AI-based recruitment system in all of the major companies. So the basic, one of the crucial factors in doing so is that people want to remove the biases which comes when human are interviewing a person. So to implement a AI-based system, basically AI-based system is as good as the data which is fed into the system. And since the only data a company can provide is the data of its existing employees. So basically, there was this question: a US-based company, it started employing this AI-based system for its recruitment process. Later on, it found out that most of the people, other than white ethnicity, were ruled out categorically from its process. So the reason found was this AI-based system, the data which was fed into the system was the employee data of this particular company, and most of the employees were white men. So this AI-based system was categorically eliminating any other person of other ethnicity apart from white men. So this is a basic kind of a difficulty in implementing this kind of system. So what can be the possible solutions to rectify it?
Okay, I'm like, so I was part of implementing this AI-based recruitment process for my previous organization. So it was basically for their credit card division, and they wanted to target all the companies, their competitors basically, and you're absolutely correct. There was a lot of gap which was found because what we fed into the system, it was picking up that. The only solution what we could come up with was that, if you've seen in Naukri, you have this 5-star, 4-star, 3-star profiles, you get that rating. So as an organization, we took a conscious call and we decided that, we're not going to stick to this 5-star and 4-star, because this particular system also had those rating to the profiles which was given based on the parameters which we had fed into the system, and I was part of that person who made the list that he should have this, and then you shortlist them for the next round. There has to be a human touch. You cannot say that you know what the system is giving you, you can follow that. So we actually decided and we started digging out all the 3-star profiles and 4-star profile and started hiring more from that lot. My personal experience says that there has to be a human touch to it. You cannot 100% depend on what the software is giving you. So that's would be my take on it.
Yeah, so just to take her point further, now its points further. So obviously, human touch is required, and your question itself had the answer because the data which was fed. See, as rightly said, in fact, what we had discussed from last half an hour, 1 hour, it's entire AI is based on the data. So whatever we feed in, it's garbage in, garbage out. It's as simple as that. So obviously, if your data is not wide enough, if it doesn't cover various aspects, you cannot rely on it. It's still into a training stage. So you cannot rely on hiring or taking any of the decisions based on that. It's into a training stage. You need to take it with a pinch of salt and you need to further dig into it. It's only after you digging and once it's has served a number of iterations, it's only after that you can say, okay, now this is final and now we do not require any human touch. So it's required, but that's a final goal. That's where we want to reach. But yes, currently almost every organization is still learning, is still feeding in the data into it. There will be a time wherein we reach to that goal wherein we say, okay, the entire selection process will be automated. But currently, yes, we need to have that human touch.
And I think you make the very valid point. What mistake we were doing? It's not my company. First, to be clear on that. Generally, the mistake as HR fraternity, what we were doing we were doing persona-based recruiting. That this business school or this kind of a age group we should target. The shift which we have started to see is skill-based recruiting. You put your skills. The system gives you which all candidates are active, which are passive, and then you reach out to them. So instead of giving a persona, go for skills. So skills can be with anybody, and that is what we have seen is one of the most solid predictor of removing the bias from the system.
Can I go? Yeah. So firstly, I'd like to thank all the panelists. This was a really lovely panel discussion, and we were able to connect with so many things that were discussed here. So my question is on the lines of moonlighting. As Shankar sir also mentioned that multitasking is probably not the best way to go about your work, right? So moonlighting is like taking multitasking one step further. So, what are your views on moonlighting, and are there like policies being implemented to, sort of, are they rigid? Are the companies rigid about it, and how you're thinking about
So let me address this larger theme. I'll come to the topic of moonlighting, which is an emanation of that larger theme. The larger theme is the networked ecosystem of work. The world of work will become much more like a Hollywood studio, Bollywood studio, and so on, than a rigid Japanese old styled organization where everything is done in house. So, what is happening, and this is happening already, is that a network of capabilities will be brought together towards a purpose of the organization. Some parts of these capabilities will be housed in house, some parts will be housed outside the organization, some parts will be human beings, some parts will be technology, some part of the technology is inside, some part of the technology is outside. This reality is being played out over the last few decades. It will be dramatically coming to be played out in the next few decades as well. What that will mean is that individuals, freelance agents, will have their own employment capability partly or fully with various organizations. You don't need to be wedded to one organization for a lifetime or even one organization at a point of time. What becomes relevant, and this is particularly relevant for certain kinds of skills, those which are easily translatable into, perhaps more technical skills, product management, many, I don't want to get into those skills, probably every skill. In these certain kinds of skills, individuals will find themselves to be better off by lending their skills to organizations rather than being wedded to an organization. And that plays into the modern era's requirement to have much more empowerment over their lives. All of you would like it, isn't it? Much more than we would have believed it to be possible. So this plays into a requirement of the individual. It also plays into the reality of the marketplace and organizations that the world is getting to be very complex. You can't house it all inside. So individuals who do that are also going to have a place in the economy. People call it the liquid economy, the gig economy, all kinds of different kinds of words tend to get used for this evolution in the workplace. Now, the question of moonlighting is one part of it. In its negative sense, it's an individual who's paid by one company for all his time, giving some of his time to some other company. And that organizations see as a crime because you're taking away from confidentiality or even time commitment into another organization. If that is what moonlighting is, then moonlighting as an organizational perspective is a malaise. It's a problem for us. However, organizations have realized that individuals will have to be leveraged who are working for other organizations also. And that reality will play out more and more going forward. I don't know whether that answers your question to a degree, but I'm not saying life is not about black and white only. This theme is the reality. This theme will play out more and more. Negative aspects of that reality as organizations see it, of course, will not be liked by organizations. But it's going to be playing out more and more as I see it. Maybe my fellow panelists have some other nuances and perspectives as well.
See, moonlighting is no. Okay, no discussion, at least for us. Okay, so having said that, if someone has more energy to contribute, we have multiple internal projects also. Please. Okay, so that is one. See, it has to be fair on you and fair on the organization. If it is only fair on me, then it is not fair, no. So it has to be fair on both parties. That is one perspective. Everybody is intelligent. If I am a consultant, I'm going to pay 10% of tax. It is your choice. Okay? It is a choice that you are a consultant. We can engage you on various models. For me, it's a head count when I count it. If you want to be a fixed term, if there's an option for fixed term employment, it is because we have specific jobs. After we construct a fuel station in, say, Rai Bareli, we may not have another fuel station out there. So fixed term employment, if you're willing to go somewhere else, we do that as well. If we can outsource something without having to do it in-house, we will outsource that as well. So there is place for everybody. Each one of us chooses what we want to do, knowing the pros, cons, so on and so forth. There is no medical insurance for a consultant. You buy your own. At least we ensure that you buy your own. Okay, otherwise you don't. Otherwise, what do we do? if you fall ill. So that is our perspective. Other organizations may have different perspective. I'll just go back to the question when I just went to the restroom on the where do you use the AI part? This a friend had asked. So I use it to write job descriptions. Okay. No. I'm just being very serious. So there is in accountancy a maker and checker concept. Why am I always going to be the maker? Why am I going to be sweating? And I told you in the beginning, this is a horse I want to ride. If tomorrow plane comes, I'll go in the plane also. So we check. Okay, it is my duty as a checker to see to it that nothing unfair happens. You get 10,000 resumes and we knock off 9,900, something of that kind. So, tomorrow if someone is going to say you are not fair, I can't say AI was not fair. It is me. So you have to be responsible for that. Yeah, wherever you could, I keep hearing about generative AI, so on and so forth. So you make the content, but you are the guy who's going to endorse that content, right? So it is you. Please do not, give yourself up so much that you are not even required for that matter. So that's my short.
Hello. Yeah, I have a question. So, thank you for the insights. But you have told about the formal and informal network between the employees, making people come online on the video and talk, and the mental initiatives that the companies have been taking. It all helps employees to be feel included within the organization. But because of this remote and hybrid workspace, there's this blurry boundaries between the personal life as well as the work life. So how an individual or a company can help them to maintain that the healthy work life?
Come to office.
Suppose that I am working from Dehradun, as you said. Then in that case, how a company is helping or how individuals should do about it?
See, so one thing is very sure. If you do not draw your boundary, then you are a doormat. Yeah. Okay. So I have my dinner at 7. I have my dinner at 7. Not now, but for the last maybe 20 odd years. By now, everybody knows this in the organization. Isko khane do yaar. Okay. So, I don't feel embarrassed, nor they feel embarrassed. So you will have to draw your own boundaries. Yeah. See, it is also partly us. This fear of missing out. What do we say? FOMO. FOMO. Oh, but I want to see it. I want to open it up. I want to. So see, partly, why should we blame the whole world? We are also supposed to be doing this. Now, you lay your boundary. I know of some people who managed work from home so beautifully. Okay. Primarily mothers who said 7 to 9 office, 9 to 10 no office, 10 to 12 office, 12 to 1 no office, and she set her boundaries. She made her boundaries known to everybody. Life is okay. So, I don't know what more evolved answer I can give, but you are the one. You should determine.
The new manager like us will be coming just out of the college right now. This liberty we don't have, I think, to have this bond.
No, so there are many ways of how you can make your thing happen. Please do give that confidence that work will happen, sir. I'm there now. I'll do it. I want to do it. But I have a problem. This is what I would not be. But when I say I'm available, I'm always available. See, there is some level of trust gaining also which happens. It can't be one-way traffic. I will do this, I will not do that. So you give some, you take some, and then somewhere you reach a compromise. Yeah. See, we are also human beings. We also have kids. He has a 17-year-old son. I have an 18-year-old son. We also get pushback at home. Yeah. We are also not holy people. And we adjust. So your managers also adjust. And you always try and work with good people when you go for an interview and all that. So I'm just sorry, but I'm just going to go into my past part. There was a point in time when I met Infosys folks, and I also met a startup. And I was immediately shown that, you can make a killing. Stock options, maybe 2 crores, 3 crores, one shot. It was like, early 2000, and I thought, wow, man. But right from the gate till the time I met Mr. Amitabh Chaudhary, who's that point in time the CEO of Infosys BPO and now Axis Bank, he left everything, small things, cell phone side mein rakh diya, kuch chai piyoge, have you had food, basic things. I want to work for such people. I want to give my, best for such people. So those are the things here. Choose the people with whom you work. It is, we keep on saying it is not about money and all that. But in the absence that you cannot find all of these things, then choose money.
Choose the good employer then.
Can I just take a minute to answer that question? I don't know if this works. Does it work? Now? Yeah. Too much. See, in the beginning, you may not have much of choice to select your boss and this and that, right? That point is well taken. And you guys are at the receiving end of a choice. You make a choice in an organization. You can't choose your, a specific boss, for instance. That comes with the job. What you should do is, in the beginning, build trust. For some people, to build trust, you have to be responsive. If you're not available, you're not going to build that trust. If the trust is not built, there's no boundary this is going to be allowed in your life. You have to figure out how to build trust. To build trust, you have to show competence, you have to show performance, you have to sometimes show responsiveness also, right? Once you build the trust, the gentleman or lady whom you're working for will himself or herself say, yaar isko Friday sham ko tang mat karo. He himself or herself will do the work. So first thing is to build trust. For that, you have to understand that other human being. For that, you have to have empathy. Try to see the world from his or her perspective. Not from your perspective in Dehradun sitting where you are, but from his perspective perhaps in Chennai, Hyderabad or Delhi, in terms of what his or her challenge in life is and what he or she wants from out of you. This, if you display as and understand, then you will be able to do some things there to build trust. And as I said, once trust is built, anything can happen.
Hello. This is work.
Most commonly heard dialogue last 3 years.
Am I audible? Yeah.
Sir, you're unmuted.
Hello. Good evening. I am Ashutosh. My question is HR department is using technology to ensure work-life balance for employees? I am asking this because there are many employees who are not able to reach HR department, and they result in leaving the organization. So is there anything that HR department is doing so that mediators or managers or superiors can be eliminated and the state of mind of any employee can be known to HR directly?
Can I take that one? Okay. So we are implementing a separation system in our organization, the joint entity, The moment somebody triggers their resignation or a request for separation, the first, the notifications goes to all relevant stakeholders, but it goes to the HR. And we have HR spokes everywhere to connect with that person. You're supposed to connect and ask the reason for which they are going. So there are 3 levels of, separation phase wherein the person speaks to his reporting manager, then to the regional HR, then to the CHRO. During that phase, the HR spoke also keeps connecting. So the biggest challenge just now is to get the right person. And in case you're not keep retaining them, it is going to be a lot of challenge for the organization. So yes, organizations are paying a lot of attention in trying to, connect with the person at the right time to, retain them. I hope.
So my question was, even before resignation, how HR department can come to know that?
They can see. I'll tell you, it's very obvious. Once you're in HR, you know, you, you start getting those indicators way in advance. Ma'am, salary कब आएगा? Ma'am, appraisal इस बारी थोड़ा late हो गया. Ma'am, वो वाला company में वो offer. See, these are small indicators. And this is only possible in case you have an open door policy. I am known as a person in HR. Any organization you call up, you say Navneet is an open door policy person. You walk into my office and you can tell me anything. And I come to know like this, that this person is already planning to leave. Believe me. I'm very sure it goes for all of us that, you start understanding about coming late to work. Suddenly there is so many people falling sick in your house. On the back-to-back chachi, masi, everybody falls sick. So these are indicators which with time you will pick up, once you're in the job.
Okay, so this is personal ability, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. HR is all about being personal, being in connect with your team. You cannot survive otherwise.
All right.
So taking her point ahead, so basically obviously personal ability is one, and your question wherein it comes to the automation also, or the AIPs. So there are various touch points. As she rightly said, there are various touch points wherein you can understand what this person is thinking, right from his swiping in and out details, his leave entries, his discussion with his colleagues, the chats, that everything. Events, yeah, there are events are going. So there are various touch points which are mapped. There are various organizations as asked also the VOCAR. There is various touch points that we keep a track on. And that's where the data itself gives us a hint, okay, this person is sitting either on the red, yellow or green. So there are green who are obviously staying with the organizations. There are people who are at yellow who are on the fence. So they can be either this side or that side. And then there are surely people who are in red. So we do take all this kind of data points from the system itself. There are various systems available wherein we take all these data points from them, analyze them, and then obviously the people who are the hypos, whom we want to retain, we start working with them much, much ahead before they put in their papers. We start understanding their requirements, have a detailed talk with them, we have stay interviews. So there are various touch points from which we get the details first, using the automation, using the systems, but then obviously finally it's the human touch itself, so wherein we sit one-to-one with them, discuss with them, and then see to it that they move from red to yellow or to green.
So your question was specifically on technology. So Microsoft has a software called Microsoft Viva. But to execute that in the organization, see, understand, data privacy is a very important part, right? You just can't one day on the back end install the system and then start looking at the data. You first have to take the consent of the employees that, look, we are doing this because we want to know how can we improve the work-life balance. Once they give consent, then you get a fair picture of the organization. And you get some fantastic trends that in a meeting, your vice president is there, associate vice president is there, senior manager is there, manager is there, area manager is there. So for one meeting, why are 7 people in the team? So with this, we were able to save 33,000 hours of man time, because every one of us was sitting in the meeting, and then the all health survey, the feedback was the work-life harmony or work-life balance is not there. Obviously, it's not going to be there if you're full day you're going to be sitting in the meeting. You will only be working when the meetings are over. So technology definitely exists, but do not execute it without the consent of your employees.
First of all, thank you to all the panelists for such a insightful discussion. I'm Mehul, and my question is that HR leaders have a seat at the leadership table to advise executives on culture and speak up for employees. Despite efforts to transition from compliance officers to employee advocates, people still lack confidence in HR. Okay, I want your comments on that.
I want to take this question again. I want to take this question only because I'm not only in HR but also in other things. So I can talk from that perspective as well. And all of them also can, because they've played multiple roles in their lives. I don't think it's true, first of all. There's a nuance there. Things can always improve, of course. And individuals are individuals, and personalities are personalities, and organization cultures also differ in terms of how they view this department and what they want to get out of this. The large agenda of people is not the agenda of HR, it's the agenda of leadership. And it is leadership which defines the culture. HR can be seen to be the custodian, perhaps, of that culture. But the trendsetters of culture is not HR. What can we do in HR to define culture? That's a big topic. It's the leaders of the organization, the institution builders, the top people, of which HR can be part, who define the culture. And so a lot rests on the shoulders of leadership in taking both the blame and the credit for culture. Now, HR cannot sit back. HR is a custodian of culture. So HR rises oftentimes on its best day to play the role to sit at the top table. Now, for HR to sit at the top table, it should not be an instruction taker. If HR is of the kind that leadership believes you have to tell HR to do X, Y, and Z, the game is over right from there. HR has to be at the top table. To be at the top table, you have to add value in the top table. Value in the top table is added by adding things of value to leadership, which is around the big things. What are the trends in the marketplace, therefore in the workplace? What can I do differently from competition, from a people agenda standpoint? These kinds of things require an elevated level of thinking and capability from HR. Once that is displayed, HR is at the top table, at the front of that top table. If it is not displayed, HR tends to be not in the top table. But I want to just make a point here that the people agenda is too big an agenda for any one department. It is the agenda of leadership, and it is the largest agenda of any organization. My colleagues who are much more in HR than me can actually augment my answer to you.
I never thought about this. How can there be a table where I am not there here? Never thought about it, actually, quite frankly speaking. And this is a very Dave Ulrich kind of question here. So, see, how is it, 1,500 people, if there are there in the organization, there is a wage bill. I know my numbers. I know how we make money. I know where we are losing money. I know how we can make more money. If I have some answers and questions around these, come talk, let us talk. I have the license to be irrational at times. Not just rely on data. I have that license and I will use that license. So as long as if you have some level of small, not big one, arrogance about your job, which means you are sufficiently confident, everything is possible. Okay, so the fact of the matter is that it depends on how you do your job. I am very, very tired of this question. I do not know who those people are who are not there on the table. Literally I'm just saying, so this is a very standard kind of thing. So if you do something with tremendous amount of passion, you are there everywhere. The board meetings, at least I go and sit. Okay, I and my CEO are kind of partners. Yeah, sometimes I look out for him. Sometimes he also chips in, and that's the association. And same with the CFO also. So that is how we do. I just wanted to go back on that attrition question. There is a movie by the name Shan. If you long time back, so there is this character by the name Abdul. Aate jaate hue main sabki khabar rakhta hu. So my question to my team is that if he or she was supposed to resign, first they should have spoken to you. Why do you not know? Okay, so if it is going to happen 8 out of 10 times that you are not knowing, then something is wrong. Yeah, go meet, go talk. You need to know. There is data, and then there is you. How are you using it? There are certain. See, if you divide employees into personas, let's start using data and cohorts. Then you know where the problem is going to happen. We are absolutely fine with attrition. Okay, so I changed 4 jobs to reach here. So somebody should change 1 job or 2 jobs. It is as per their will, yeah. But did we do enough? If there are valid reasons, somebody's got a great job, what's the problem? Can come back as good alumni afterwards. So those kind of things, we are absolutely fine with attrition. You can't say that, please come and talk to us. You have to go there. If you know everybody in your society or building, you should know everybody in the company, which means to say that you have to stay long in the company. So if you stay for long, you know people. But if you stay as HR folks, opportunities are there. Yeah, if you leave every 2 years, then you may not know the people. The small things.
Ma'am, I have an added point here to add. I don't know if any of you has heard of Jim Collins. Jim Collins is a business writer and quite an easy to understand writer. I would ask you to read his books if you like that kind of thing. Now, Jim Collins has written a book on strategy, couple of books on strategy, Good to Great, Built to Last, and so on. And ostensibly, they're books on strategy. But one thing with Jim Collins, right, and this is to tell you how important the people agenda is in organizations. It is unarguably the most important agenda because it is the people who define strategy, who define processes, who figure out technology. It's everything. Jim Collins has a statement there in his book says, what do you do first in an organization? He says, get the wrong people off the bus, get the right people into the bus, and then figure out where to go. Then figure out where to go is strategy. Before you do anything like this, you get the wrong people off the bus, get the right people on the bus, then figure out where to go. In order to get the wrong people off the bus and the right people into the bus, you need to understand human psychology. You need to understand human relations. And that is the high level importance of HR. I know you have conclaves of various kinds, and first two today, next two tomorrow. I want to let you know that this topic is not a trivial topic. Increasingly, as the world becomes more complex, it will be much more important to understand human psychology than to keep score or to run efficient machines.
So, okay, final comment from my side. You asked the question about us listening to the employees, right? There are multiple tools. Organization health survey, where engagement surveys, where people give their feedback. The feedback should also be heard and then given back that what you have done. So till last year, we used to have 9-point rating scale, right? Employees told us too complex. So globally, in an organization of 95,000, we have shifted now down to 5. So this channel, I'm 100% sure all of my other colleagues also maintain. They visit in the field to the employees. We talk to them. There are times when they will tell us that, this policy is not something which is working for me. Can you relook at the policy? Last year, the mobile phone allowance was X. This year, the prices have gone up. Can you please look at this? So those are the things then, within the ambit of the organization affordability, we definitely should look at, because we are making the policy for the people, right? If that's not going to serve the purpose, then it's not a CRPC law that X or Y, right? So this will be a continuous process. It will continue. We will definitely continue to share the feedback. And as he said, wherever it's required, we'll also put our foot down. So be rest assured, AI, no AI, people agenda is always there. People are going to talk to people, and then people are going to make decisions based on what people say. On Amazon, the first thing we see, product teams will have written so many things. We'll go down and see what customers have written. So that agenda, that seat will continue to have. And, as he said, even we have to teach people how to smile, right? Teach people how to connect. So these are the things which we'll continue to do. And, we are expecting the same from, you guys. When you walk into the workforce, you will be representing a brand. You're coming from SP Jan. So that respect already will be there when you walk in the organization. So compared to a lot of other people, you will have that leeway. And when you rise up to that level, definitely a lot more success is going to come your way.
Thank you. Well, that was a really interesting conversation, but due to the shortage of time, we would have to, keep the questions now. So I would like to thank all my panelists here for your valuable insights on the crucial role of collaboration, empathy, and setting boundaries, as you rightfully said. The need for a mindset shift towards adaptability in this evolving digital work landscape. Now, to honor our distinguished panelists, we would like to present mementos to symbolize our gratitude. I'd now request Aditi to do the honors. Thank you all. I would request all panelists and moderator to be ready for a photograph. Yeah. Now I would request all the faculty members to please come on stage for a photograph with the panelists. Lastly, I would like to request the HR Conclave core team to come on stage. Dipti ma'am, please come on stage. Please, please. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining us and making this conclave a success. And a short session with the panelists. So, thank you all.